Psoriasis. You know, for millions of people, it's this lifelong, really frustrating battle with their own skin. And the story we've always been told is that it's an immune system gone haywire. But what if that whole story is, well, not wrong, but just incomplete? What if we've been fundamentally misreading what's happening at the cellular level? In this explainer, we're going to dive into a radical new perspective that might just change everything we thought we knew.
Okay, so let's just start right here. This quote from Dr. Álvaro González Quintero is huge. It completely reframes the problem. He's saying, hey, let's stop focusing only on calming down inflammation, and instead, let's look at fixing a broken metabolic process deep inside the cells. And that's not just playing with words. That shift in perspective redefines the entire approach to how we treat this disease.
But before we get into the new stuff, we've got to look at what we're doing now. To really get why this metabolic idea is such a game changer, you have to understand the current standard of care and, where it really falls short.
For most people with psoriasis, the journey starts right here. You see these visible, often painful plaques on the skin. And what's the first line of defense? Almost always, it's a topical corticosteroid cream. It's the first thing doctors reach for, the go-to weapon in the dermatology arsenal.
And look, steroids work fast. There's no doubt about it. They can bring relief in just a few weeks. But here's the thing. They're just putting a lid on the symptoms. They don't actually fix the root cause. So the moment you stop using the cream, the plaques often come roaring right back. And if you use them long-term, you start opening the door to some pretty significant side effects.
Yeah, and this is a really stark warning from Dr. Peter van de Kerkhoff. He points out that side effects like skin thinning and those stretch marks, they aren't temporary. He literally says they never will improve, leaving people with them for life. So you're stuck in this cycle, using a short-term fix for a long-term problem, and that fix can cause permanent damage. That's a real dilemma.
So, this just begs the question. If steroids are just a Band-Aid, what is the real engine driving this thing? What if all this time we've been so busy fighting the smoke that we completely miss the fire? Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. Let's peel back the layers and look at this problem at the most fundamental level, inside the skin cell itself.
The answer seems to be in this amazing new field called immunometabolism. And I want to be clear, this has nothing to do with your diet or the food you eat. It's all about the energy factory inside each of your cells. It turns out the way a cell produces its energy literally decides if it's going to be a peaceful, helpful cell or an aggressive, inflammatory one.
So in psoriasis, the skin cells, they get stuck. Their little energy factories switch into this super inefficient sugar-burning mode. Think of it like a car engine that's stuck in first gear. It's revving like crazy, burning through fuel, running way too hot, and just pumping out all this toxic exhaust. That state, that is the inflammatory state. So what's all that toxic exhaust I mentioned? Well, a big part of it is a molecule called lactate. For a long time, we thought it was just waste. But what we see here is that lactate is actually a powerful signal. It creates this feedback loop that goes back into the cell's command center and basically tells it, hey, keep doing what you're doing. It literally locks the cell in that pro-inflammatory state. It's a vicious, self-sustaining cycle. So, if the root of the problem is a broken cellular engine stuck in the wrong gear, how in the world do you fix it? You don't just put a Band-Aid on it. You've got to get under the hood. And the solution here? Well, it's as elegant as it is unexpected. You use light.
The therapy is called photobiomodulation, or PBM for short. Basically, it's a non-invasive way of using very specific frequencies of near-infrared light. And the goal isn't to mask symptoms. The goal is to reach deep inside the cell and literally reboot that broken energy engine, to kick it out of that inflammatory, sugar-burning state and get it working properly again.
And here's how it actually works at a cellular level. On the left, you see the light penetrates deep into the skin. It gets right to the mitochondria, the cell's power plants. What it does is act like a key. It gets in there and kicks out a molecule that's basically gumming up the works. And once that's gone, the engine can restart and run efficiently. So this one action from the outside completely restores the balance on the inside.
So what does this actually look like for a patient? Well, it's surprisingly straightforward. You use this small, portable LED device. It's set to a specific wavelength, 850 nanometers. You just apply the light directly to the plaques for maybe 5 to 10 minutes per spot. You do that about 5 days a week, and the whole protocol lasts for 40 sessions. It's targeted, it's localized, and you can do it at home.
All right, so this all sounds incredible in theory, right? Hacking cellular metabolism with light? It sounds like science fiction. But the real question is, does it actually work in the real world?
Okay, get ready for this, because the results are, well, they're stunning. On the left, you see a patient's back covered in these stubborn plaques. And on the right, that's after the 40 sessions. The clearance is just dramatic. And the most crucial part of this was achieved with 0 corticosteroids or any other drugs, just light.
And it's not just a one-off. Here's another patient, this time on the chest. You see the exact same story. Look at the huge reduction in redness, in the scaling, the thickness. The skin's overall quality is just so much better. This isn't just covering up the problem. This is real tissue healing.
And again, here on a patient's leg, we see pretty much a complete resolution of the lesion. The consistency across these cases is just remarkable. But what's even more impressive than the fact that the skin cleared up is how long it stayed that way.
Patients in the case series remained in remission for over a year. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. In the treated areas, no relapse for more than a year. In the world of psoriasis treatment, that is absolutely huge.
And this is the real kicker. The researchers would treat one part of the body, then stop, and move to a totally different area. And guess what? That first spot they treated stayed clear. It didn't come back. This is what tells us that this isn't just a temporary fix. This is a true, durable mitochondrial reset that's fundamentally changing the skin's biology in that location.
So where do we go from here? What does a breakthrough like this actually mean for the future of dermatology? Well, it's about more than just a new gadget. It's about a completely new way of thinking.
What's really cool is that the next idea isn't to just throw out the old treatments. It's to make them way better and safer. It's called the synergistic rescue hypothesis. The idea is, what if you use the light therapy with the standard steroid cream? The light could speed up the healing, while at the same time protecting the skin from the steroids' damaging side effects, like that skin thinning we talked about. You could get the best of both worlds. And I want to be really clear, this isn't just some theory stuck in a lab. This technology is already starting to make its way to the people who need it. There's a social enterprise in Mexico called Iluminando Vidas, which means illuminating lives, and they are already working to make this accessible and turn this research into real-world impact.
Which leaves us with this one big, fascinating question. We've just seen how we can use light to fix a fundamental metabolic error in skin cells. So if we can reset the cellular engine to treat psoriasis, how many other chronic inflammatory diseases are secretly just an energy crisis in disguise? And what could be next?